Let's start with indoor plants, and one of the most important things to understand is whatever plants I might show you, I keep them inside the home, but it takes care. Care is required. We have discussed that in the sessions of light and water and other things. So also show you in each plant the problem that I had or the challenges I have or why I have kept them the way I have and where I keep them. And first in my list would be philodendron. And each one of you, when I say philodendron, they will imagine something else. In terms of, for somebody, a philodendron might look like a plant. For somebody, a philodendron might look like, I don't know, a dumb cane, Aglaonema kind of a plant. And this is something what a person commented on my video when I was talking about Syngonium being so versatile. They were talking about philodendron also being so versatile, and I thought it's a great topic to start this discussion with. So one of the things is we really need to understand a plant family and a plant name. And philodendron is a plant family which defines all the members in that family, what kind of conditions they like to be in, how will they grow, and how we need to take care of them. But let me put two plants out and you'll see how philodendrons vary a lot. So this is one philodendron. This is the one we had repotted couple of sessions back, right? This is philodendron red Congo. Now this, compare it with this one. So we are comparing this one with this one. These are both philodendrons, and that is something very important to understand. How can a same plant family differ from looking something like this, almost like a rubber plant people confuse it with, to something like this, what people confuse as a money plant? You see? And that's why it is extremely important that we understand they belong to the same family, and philodendron is one of the largest family. If you know Xanadu again is a philodendron. If you don't know Xanadu, I had a leaf here somewhere. Okay, just forget it. So Xanadu again belongs to philodendron family, and then other philodendrons I've had is philodendron Pluto and Salem. I'll show you one more. I have forgotten total about Salem. I should have gotten this. This is again a philodendron. So this is philodendron, this is philodendron, and this is philodendron. So why I'm emphasizing this is we need to take care when we talk about plants about the plant family and the name separately. The care instructions for these plants is going to be same. But say if you look at my post somewhere or somebody else's post and you look at this plant and make a note that I want philodendron, and then you go out in market looking for philodendron, they might give you this one, or they might give you the other Salem one, and you'll be like, no, this is not the same, maybe I have the name wrong. So in philodendron, always make sure it's a family. And what does it mean? What are the characteristics that a family share? Most importantly for us to know right now is the family will share all the care instructions. Okay, they will share the light conditions that they like to be in. Also, they will share the watering requirements. So one of my favorite, if not the favorite plant, is this Philodendron congo. You can get a small version of it, and I feel I always love plants where even a single plant looks like a forest or a mystery kind of one. So this is a very young plant. We have just transferred it from a smaller pot. But when it was in a smaller pot, it used, just imagine this was in a 4-inch pot. And so this one is absolutely amazing. Plus, it's amazing if you want to add a pop of color, because the red stems of this plant are clearly visible when you keep them inside your home. So when you keep it, you see both reddishness and the green leaves. So a great plant. The first plant that we are talking about is Philodendron congo. Where can you keep it? You can keep it anywhere inside the home. Just make sure of one thing: water it less, and but water it thoroughly, because this is a plant just like money plant. It would like to bring out its roots and like to spread out. So once you water it thoroughly, some water would be left where the moisture would be left in soil where the roots are not there right now. And because it has such a high tendency of growing roots from every place, it will start spreading to that part of the pot also. So number one, Philodendron congo. Now let's come to the second plant. This one I think people know the name of. You know the name? Background is too bright. Anmol says Rhapis palm is also called lady palm. Let's do something about the background. Give me a second. It's still bright. I don't know what's happening with this. Okay, but at least I think we can see the plant more clearly. No, it's the same problem. Now it's too less of light. Okay, let's move on. Then, if we can't fix it, yeah, going to. Okay, so this is the ZZ plant, and this is one of the most popular plants that I see around. It's also partly because in YouTube, if you look at any video, you see this. Now, why I like it? I really like this plant, but at the same time, what I would say is don't go looking for it and going crazy, because I have done that in past. And this plant is much more expensive than any other plant of similar size, just because it's in demand from people who watch YouTube. So it is in demand from people who just want it at any price. So like a pot like this one would be 250, 300 rupees. So you can keep it in bathroom, you can keep it in darkest corners of your home. It will still survive. It may not do very well, but it will survive. And that's a great thing. Less water and less, what do you say, light. No problem with this plant. And that is something that we should look at for this. You can also propagate it with leaf. So if you're being adventurous, you can propagate, break it down, put it in soil, keep watering it, couple of months, it will root. Also, it divides on its own. You see, It has so many nodes. I can take it out. Root nodes. It has modules. What do you call that? Basically, I can divide it into if I dig it up, I will see bunches of roots and plants separately, and I can divide them into different plants. So that way, it's great plant. It is amazing. But what I'm saying is, if you don't find it in your nursery, if you don't find it near you, don't worry. Don't go crazy looking for it. You will still manage to do a lot better with other plants I'm going to show you. It is just that because we see a lot of videos on YouTube from say US and internationally. That's why I think two plants have really taken over, which are very easy to find there. So they are in every video there. But in Indian situation, it is not easy to find them. And that's why they have become like the wish list plants. So one is ZZ, the other is fiddle leaf fig. Let me show you fiddle leaf fig. And that's the thing. Somebody suggested move your laptop screen down. I don't have a laptop screen. I have an external. Okay, I got the idea. We'll cut out the window. I'm sorry for this. Okay, perfect. I think perfect. Till the time I sit down, we won't know. Somebody is saying, so fancy your gadget is. This is a webcam I purchased in 2009 or 10, I think. At that time, we were working on remote consultations for doctors. So for that, I remember at that time, HD focus webcams were not available and we needed something that could focus on the skin and all. So we got this one. As per current standards, obviously, I think this doesn't match the expectations, but this is to rescue today. So I was saying one plant which I think is overrated is ZZ, and the other one is this fiddle leaf fig. Right? A lot of people just want a fiddle because I don't know. Because I think every video you see, every decor you see a fiddle in it. You see a fiddle and you see a monstera. Now, these are not magic plants. That's what I want you to know. These are not magic plants. There are a lot of plants in India in nurseries that you will find very easily, which will give the same kind of growth, beauty, and you don't have to worry so much about them. Like for fiddle, you see the leaves drooping because I have to mist it. Secondly, because I had kept it where I was, no, this is a different one, I think. But fiddle doesn't like its leaves to be touched or brushed against. So if I have a small place and I put a plant which is going to go big and I keep touching it because it's my home and I want to move around freely, right? The plant is not going to like it. So fiddle is very finicky when you brush against its leaves or if you touch the leaves, and it doesn't like that. So, but it is very popular online. And all I'm saying is don't go crazy looking for fiddle or for ZZ because there is life beyond YouTube plants. I know, I mean, it's irony. I'm talking this on YouTube and while showing you both fiddle and ZZ. But trust me, I also thought a couple of years back that I need to find these plants. And now they're easily available also. You can find them. So let's move ahead. If not fiddle, what is another plant that you can have at home which will do very well inside the home. And from what I understand, a lot of people want to get fiddle as what they call as a statement plant. And what is a statement plant? Statement plant, I don't know, some of you might know what is called a statement earring. So essentially it is just a big plant in a space that becomes the centerpiece of that space, right? So if not fiddle, what's the other plant? It is this one, the Rhapis palm. I have couple of them at home. I have couple of them at office. This is actually a smaller one, believe it or not, from in my home. This is this high, but I have another one which is 9 feet tall, and these can be very big. These can be smaller. You can get it in this kind of a pot. You can get it in a bigger pot. This would be an amazing center, the main statement plant for your home. But the best thing is you can find it very easily, and you can find it very cheap also. This one, I think I bought it for 1200 rupees with the pot, and you have to consider the fact that it's a huge plant, right? While this fiddle, is about 300 rupees. So yeah. So that was my rant about YouTube and YouTube plants, and let's move ahead and let's look at more plants. Let's do another plant which all of you might know already. Yeah. We have done this many times, so we'll do this one first. What's the name? Don't say pothos. NG Rao asked, what about ferns? I'll come to ferns. Can you answer the questions that I'll look at the questions, Sunita. So this one is called Enjoy Pothos, as Aishwarya and Manali are typing. So pothos, I would say, is one of the plant which is extremely brilliant in terms of its versatility. We have talked this before, and I'll just do a quick reminder. These have nodes here. Okay. Basically, money plant, pothos, all varieties, they propagate very easily, they grow very easily. And we have to really exploit that. If we want them to become lush and green and big baskets, we have to exploit the fact that they like to grow, right? So a couple of things to do. Like in this one, I don't know if you can see there's new growth inside. Do you see this one? That's a new growth. And just like that, there are a lot of new growths happening. And I observed that these growths started happening after I started trimming out all the external ones. So this was just flowing like this only. Like this is coming out the same way it had branches coming out. I keep trimming them. And that's how it becomes dense. Because it still wants to grow. So this is a plant which wants to grow a lot. Now, if you give it a way to grow easily, that's not what we want to get it bushy. First, we want to trim it, or we take that stem, we put it in the length, and then we keep trimming it at ends, and that's from where multiple nodes can start emerging. So, money plant is basically, I would say you can put it in any form that you want. It's totally dependent upon your labor and a bit of practice. That's one of the things. I've struggled with money plant a lot. I've struggled in our home We have had money plant which we would see like for years being just same size because we never cut things. But very soon, one day when we were planting new plants for winters, we decided that money plant is not growing. So why not put it in the same boat like thing? So we ended up cutting some of the money plant. And after that, that money plant has been doing so well. Its leaves are much, much bigger. They are 5 to 6 times what they were earlier. It is finding new places to grow and things like that. So money plant, while people say it's the simplest plant to put anywhere and anything, I think money plant requires a bit of learning, of bit of art. Because I know one thing, if you have a plant like this, let's say you get enjoy pothos, and all you have is a couple of branches coming out, it takes a lot of heart to cut it out, and people are not going to cut it out. They'll be like, I'm happy with these 2 leaves, I'm not going to leave and cut these 2 leaves just in hope that I will get some other leaves. So that's why it's a challenging plant. It's an art. I think sometime, I'm not sure whether we can do it during the lockdown, but I would try to do a video properly on taking care of money plant. I think that's one of the most important things. There's a question. Yes, pruning. Okay. Is pruning principle applicable to philodendron too? Okay. So here's where I would say we have to now distinguish between the types of philodendron. So, like this one. No. You can't prune this one because you don't see any nodes, right? There are no nodes in it. So when we prune, we have to prune according to nodes. Always prune according to nodes. Nodes is from where the new growth is going to come out. So here the nodes are all inside. It's going to get growth directly from soil. So here we don't prune in this one. But this other philodendron we had, this one. Yes, here you can do pruning exactly like you do in money plant. It has all those nodes. This one, just treat it like money plant. While you are taking care, there is no difference between this one and a money plant for care instructions. So absolutely same. Okay. I think we have gone very slow today. It's 26 minutes already. I just love talking about these plants, and thank you for listening. So this is Aglaonema, right? Also known as Chinese evergreen. Now again, you might get many different colors and variations of this plant and get these homes. I mean, next time you get a chance when you're in nursery, if there's one plant I would request everyone to get home, is this Chinese evergreen. And just do 2 things. A, don't water it. And secondly, just put it anywhere where it can get some kind of sunlight, light. Even artificial tube will do. That's it. A pink variation of it and lipstick, Aglaonema lipstick, that sits on so many tables of our office. There's one plant called pink Aglaonema. That's the one I keep on my table. I think that's the only plant I keep on my table in office. I'm remembering office now. So that's the only plant I keep on my table because of the fact that it survives everything. Because on my office table, I have my laptops and documents and everything. I can't water it there. But it doesn't matter. It will survive even as if I say water it once in 3 weeks, one in 4 weeks. And in terms of light, it does extremely well with the given tube light that I have in office. So that's it. This again is not cheap. This would come to you around the range of 250 to 350. But this one is worth it. I'll tell you, this one is worth it. I personally feel because there are very few plants which add color to your indoor home, right? There are very few plants with help of which you can get color in your indoor home. Secondly, it can survive. But I'll repeat it. Aglaonema especially is very susceptible to root rot. basically what I'm saying is don't overwater it. Don't water it, in fact. Don't, so that you don't overwater it. Yesterday somebody sent me a message on Instagram and she said I didn't overwater it, but later I found that my soil was not draining enough. So it was below this, it was a hard soil. So she took out her Aglaonema yesterday for repotting and she found it has no roots left. It rots away. And how do you find that it's rotting? You see something like this. This kind of consistency where it is sticky to touch, that begins to happen in the stems. Once that begins to happen in the stems, right now in stem I get this crispy kind of peel, but once I start getting sticky peel there, that basically means I'm overwatering. We should stop overwatering. This is one plant which starts rotting from stem, and that's why the roots and everything, they go away very fast. Aglaonema. Get an Aglaonema. When you go to nursery, you can ask for Aglaonema or you can ask for Chinese evergreen. Both ways, they will give it to you. What other plants? There is one more plant I want to, many more plants I want to show you. But one more plant before I say that if you want to leave, you can. So this is known as wandering Jew. Do you see the leaf here and on the back side? So let me take this leaf. So this is the difference between the front and the back. It's not very visible. The name for this one is wandering Jew. I think Aparna is asking, other people are saying, okay. I think you're asking for this one. It's Aglaonema or Chinese evergreen. Evergreen. Okay. I'll also show you there are a couple of other variations of it. Like you might get a leaf like this. This is not Chinese evergreen, but a leaf like this also comes in Chinese evergreen, and so on and so forth. So there is a large variety of Chinese evergreen. A pink Aglaonema and Aglaonema lipstick. So you'll see there's a huge variations of the leaf, but overall the structure of the plant and everything is same. Now this is called wandering Jew. I love it. It's very easy to find, very easy to propagate. In India, you will find it in abundance across. But somehow, I don't know why, it has not made to the popular culture in decor. I think it's an amazing plant in general. And just like money plant, it can grow and propagate and you can train it to climb on things. One tip with plants like these, keep them in humid corners and keep them in artificial light. I kept it on a sink actually. So you have this wash basin, you wash hands, and on the left side, I kept this plant. And very soon, the growth accelerated. So if you see the top, it's all dry. It was all drying when I decided to keep it on the wash basin, and then all this growth started coming in and it is doing well now. So yes, we all struggle with plants. The only thing is, can you detect the sign that the plant is struggling and then can you take some action? So that's the most important thing. Now that I've got it out, I think I'll clean it a bit and I'll prepare it. And this is your wandering Jew. I would really recommend get this one. And you don't even need to buy it. You'll see it when you walk across your home or societies. You'll find it somewhere. Get a cutting. Get like this big a cutting or a couple of cuttings, and just very easy to propagate, just like money plant. I'm sure you can propagate it. So wandering Jew it is. Then is rubber plant. Again, do you see these droopy leaves? Humidity, and it needs watering. This one needs watering, actually, it needs watering. This one we have seen many times now. This is the variegated rubber plant. I recently purchased it, like just about a month back or so. And this is a normal rubber plant, right? This is the same family as fiddle leaf fig in the broad scheme of things, right? Now, for rubber plant, one of the things that you need to understand most importantly is it it is very susceptible to root rot. Okay, very susceptible, extremely. So there are two plants, if I would say, on top of the list where I would say just don't water. It's Aglaonema and rubber plant. But there's something more interesting about rubber plant where I personally do not believe that it's an indoor plant totally. People do say it's an indoor plant. I keep it indoors. But at the same time, what I mean is, when I say all other plants you can rotate in and out like once in 10 days, once in 2 weeks, I would say with rubber plant, you should give it more sunlight more often. So like ideally, I would say every 2 to 3 weeks, put it outdoors for 1 week. Listen, it will not thrive. It will still survive. It will be good looking plant. It will not be growing. But with rubber plant, I have seen that it's possible that the plant also changes and start shedding leaves and all. So couple of things with rubber plant is wipe its leaves and give it a bit of humidity, misting and water sparingly, and also take it outdoors a bit more. But I love rubber plant. You won't believe there was a year when I went looking for rubber plant and I couldn't find it anywhere. Again, I don't know why. Rubber plant is generally not available in nurseries, and people in who come here, they don't bring it that often. Nursery person says it's not a popular plant online. So I have a regular nursery I go to, so he says nobody else comes looking for rubber plant. And the only reason I wanted rubber plant is because it is one of few plants that you can keep indoors, but they will still grow to be huge. This can actually go and become a 10-foot tall plant, and that's my goal with this one and the variegated one. I want to take them and I want to make them like a big tree, like a 10-foot tree. I hope that happens. I love trees inside home. So that's one thing. I somehow feel that if somebody comes to my home, all the time that they're there, at least once they should get smacked with a branch of a plant and they should be like, oh, and I'm like, yes, the house belongs to these plants. You are a visitor. So this is another one which you can keep just like money plant. It is known as Monstera adansonii. I never cared to learn its exact name, but I'll Manoj, can we just check its exact name and type it in comments? It's Monstera adansonii, I think. Just check that. Manoj will just type it out in the chat, and this has nodes, so you can propagate it, grow it just like money plant is doing well. One of the things that now I'm concerned about this plant is the other day on video while I was doing live, I had ditched one yellow leaf, and now there's one more yellowing, slight yellowing you can see on this one. So probably I'm going to take it out now, though I've just taken it out. So this is the thing. That day when I removed one yellow leaf, I was not. So before the plants get into deeper thing, before I say, oh, I lost all my leaves, before I say all leaves are yellow, we have to take action. And when will that happen? We discussed in once that Maintain a schedule so that you are looking at each of your plants closely. And that is most important. If you're looking at each of your plants closely, that will help you. Now, again, there are many varieties of this plant. It was in low light conditions. So, does anyone know name of this one? I need to start taking better care of this one. Actually, again, this has purple back and green front. This one actually closes and opens as per the light. And Enjiro says Fittonia, no. Wafia Abbas says Maranta. Sita says Maranta. Wafia says peacock plant. So yes, this is Maranta. And I can understand why some people say Calathea. And I think that's the family name. And so Calathea, so couple of things I'm not good at is Calatheas, Marantas, and succulents. These are the places where I don't know the names very well. This again is it still has sticker also. This one was for 200. I think these are very overpriced. Honestly, I got a lot of these mostly because I wanted to see what's about them that people want them. And I love their leaves. There's no doubt about it. I love the leaf. The leaf has a character in it. At the same time, if I have 200 rupees and I go out looking for my first plant, I will not pick this because A, it is going to be very difficult to take care of, and secondly, it is not going to give you the happiness. It's more likely going to die a bit than to grow into a big plant. I would rather spend money on a smaller version of Aglaonema or maybe enjoy pothos is around the same range. I don't have sticker on this, but this one is probably 100, 150 rupees. But I got a bigger one in my office, which we keep propagating from. And I think that also I got for 100 or 150 rupees. And then we have made so many other pots from that same plant. So Maranta is this. And somebody said Fittonia. So let me show a Fittonia. This is Fittonia. Let it focus, let it focus. Okay. Okay. So this is Fittonia. And I don't know, when I got it, everyone said you will not be able to keep it alive in the Delhi winters. So I was lucky, I guess, or the winters were warm. This survived. And these days I hang it on top of my kitchen sink. And again, these are plants which can do very well in a basket. These have nodes, you can propagate them. So another thing when I think about is this plant worth the money, I also look at how easy is it to propagate it. Because if it is easy to propagate, I know one thing that I'll multiply it into a couple of plants. And then that way it's going to grow bigger and bigger. This one is easy to propagate. It has nodes all along the stem. But one of the things that I struggled with it initially and now I see signs of it back are mealy bugs. So what I personally like to do with mealy bugs for this kind of a plant is manual thing. So you'll see it's missing. It's made cutting like 2 months back. Okay, so let me show you one more plant. Actually, I have more plants also. This is a plant. Yeah. Okay. It flowered this year. This was the flower. Now it has dried down. I'm just waiting for the seeds to form or whatever might happen. I don't know. Uh, can anyone guess what plant is this? Aunt Fittonia. Very. Somebody is saying Oriental Lily. Somebody is saying Sansevieria variegated. Variegated, did you say? What is the meaning of variegated? I think there's some confusion about the meaning of variegated. Because Wafia is saying Sansevieria variegated. It's not aloe vera, it's not aloe vera, it's snake plant variety. Yes, it's a Sansevieria family. It's a, it's a Sansevieria family, and it is a cylindrical snake plant. You see this? It's almost like a sword. It's cylindrical. It's amazing. So we learned two things from this one. Firstly, we have cylindrical snake plants. You see. Secondly, snake plants also flower. That's very important. This year, a lot of people sent me photos of their snake plant blooming. Snake plants do flower. It's a beautiful flower. It's not beautiful because it's unique and you have never seen that flower, but it's very beautiful because you didn't expect it to flower and it flowered. The another thing I would say about snake plant is what people keep asking me is my snake plant is not growing. So do you see these three? These three were there. I think when I got it, it had only two, but these three were there since November. And then this little guy, it has grown from February till now. So it is growing. One of the things with snake plant is don't try to bribe them with water. They don't like water, don't give them water. Right? It is healthy. And I'll give it water like once in 1 month or once in what do you say, 5 weeks. And secondly, give nutrition. I've given it green stick, but whatever you need to do, give nutrition. Feed your plants. Feeding your plants is important. That is going to make all the difference. Let's come back to this plant, which has been my favorite. I'll tell you one very interesting story about this plant also. I have another plant of this. I'll show it to you sometime during our next live. This, and this is a demonstration of how it should not be grown. Actually, I grew it for one very specific purpose. I wanted to keep it in back where the leaves still come in. So I took a long cutting and just wrapped it around so that it keeps growing from here. But don't grow like this. It doesn't look that beautiful. The leaves are amazing. I have one Syngonium which is climbing a tree, and this Syngonium killed that tree because it went in, it grabbed the tree, made roots inside the trunk. And I don't know what. I got it very cheap for 300 rupees. I'll show it to you sometime. It's a 10-foot tall plant because the nursery person was just that. You know what? I got this tree to sell. This Syngonium killed this tree. Just take it away. And it looks so beautiful. It's a real trunk of a tree on which this Syngonium is wrapped, and the Syngonium keeps growing. Fun story. I find it fun. Why sometimes there appears brown patches on money plant? For money plant, because just talking today, I realized how much there is to money plants in general. In terms of, I always talked about money plants in terms of light and watering, but then there are certain things that come specifically to, I think any amount of videos we make on money plant are not going to be sufficient because the kind of love that money plant gets from people. So everyone has a unique problem. NG Rao had asked about ferns. So I'll show one fern. I don't have Boston fern. I don't have foxtail fern. I have just one fern, which is called bird nest fern. And I know it might look very different from what you think of as a fern because it has big leaves. Normally, we think of ferns with very small leaves, right? With ferns, always make sure that they will love humidity. You can take away everything from them. You can take away light, you can take away watering in the soil, but give them humidity. They want that humidity. Without the humidity, they're going to struggle, especially now it is summers. Summers are coming. We need to make sure, because in general, the air is going to get drier. Also, it gets more dry because we have ACs running. So for ferns, we would say don't keep them in a room where you have AC running, right? Ferns will struggle there. Uh, and that's a very important point. Well, ferns are very beautiful to look at. People put them everywhere. I love that they put it everywhere. But now let's make sure we give it humidity. And it's very sad when ferns shed their leaves because there are like so many tiny leaves falling, and I can understand. So, want to know about poinsettia? My plant is about to die. Can we keep in washroom? Yes, you can keep in washroom. Ipsita, that will be amazing. To keep ferns in washroom is an excellent and a brilliant idea. I'm telling you. I think I'm going to make a price of this one. Price of this one. It must be, I think, 300. Actually, this one I don't remember. But I got a bird nest fern which was similar but in a smaller size. That I got for 200 rupees. Uh, so, small difference in my prices is from which nursery I buy. Uh, so, the smaller one, or the ones I'm showing, just showed to you, these I bought from not my regular nursery. When I buy from my regular nursery, uh, he knows the kind of pricing I like, and he would direct me to the plant that I would want. Like, I'll give you an example. In Aglaonema, this one is probably 150 to 200, and Aglaonema lipstick is about 200 rupees, and then another Aglaonema, similar style but more deeper red, is 350 rupees. So anytime I go and tell him that give me 10 of those, he like, no, you want 10 of those because those are the ones which will come in your price range, which is better. Because I personally, he knows I don't pay for bigger plants just because they're bigger, like one size up. So whenever you are, so we have done this video. We have done this video tips to look at when you're going to a nursery. So I rather buy a smaller size plant which is ready to be moved to a bigger pot, like this one. So this one was in a pot size like this till couple of days back. Then I've placed it in this one, right? Now nothing has changed in the plant from there to here. But now, if this in nursery, I would have taken the same plant in a bigger pot, it would have been much more expensive, not just for the pot size, because then it comes to a new category, which is the bigger size plants. So that's the thing. By the way, I tell you one thing, once all this lockdown is over, I really feel a lot for everyone who's running nurseries. We have to do something. We have to plan across India. If we can decide on a day and we go and shop from people. I mean, I know we can afford to buy 500 rupees, 600 rupee plants. I mean, not one plant, but maybe 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever plants you want. But for them, it will be really a great support because it's a cycle. Their current plants might be dying, they might be lost, they might be taking care of them, but paying fines to administration for that. And unless they can get new plants, and they can get new plants only once they sell these plants, and that's how the cycle goes. So yeah, okay. What what about light in washroom? Okay, I think that's a question related to ferns. So one thing is, so one thing is about light in washroom. Washroom and kitchens I really like because generally they're smaller than other rooms, but they still have a light. So when you switch on the light per square foot, you can say, is much higher intensity. What I would recommend is, if you're keeping your plants in bathroom, just make sure that your light is on a couple of hours a day. That's it. And that would normally happen because you would be using it in the morning. You would be, if you're a family of four, then definitely, even if everyone is taking bath, it would be on for 1 hour or so, and then you can leave it on for another hour, something like that. If you can do, even if you don't do that, then do one thing: rotate it between bathroom and outdoors. Rotate between bathroom and outdoors, and that would also help. And thank you so much. Today we have gone over time by a lot, and I'm really sorry for the setup where I think the light was playing a spoiled sport. We will try to improve it. I'm also setting up a new room here, which used to be the first office of Lazy Gardener. So there's this room where Manoj used to sit. We used to pack. There's still a huge roll of corrugated paper there. I'm now setting it up to be a proper room where I can do sessions and record videos very easily, because it's been 2 weeks now, and I feel if it's going to go any longer, I should have a proper setup now. I can't just keep doing it sitting in front of my plants. I mean, though I love that, but so the where I used to normally do the lives, I have not set that up, and that's generally a place where I would had another chair which was tall, and I could had a table, and I could do have my tea and breakfast. And I want to get that back and have another place where I can do lives, which is well done. Thank you, Chiranjit. You liked it. Thank you, Ritushri. Uh, Thank you, Aisha, Nisha, Jay. Jay is asking tips for coleus. We'll do it sometime. Thank you so much. And if you found this informative, please do two things. One of two things. Actually, if you do both, that will be great. A, subscribe to the channel. And secondly, a thumbs up. I mean, there are two buttons like this, as I always say. Whichever you feel. It's just a way for us to tell YouTube that we enjoyed watching this video. And if you show this video to other people, that will be a good thing too. That's essentially the idea. And earlier we were just on Instagram. Now we are taking Facebook and YouTube more seriously because we have time, and I enjoy talking to people. And yes, so if you find anyone who has any question or any group in any Facebook, anywhere, and if you feel one of our videos fits as an answer to the question, please feel free to suggest our video. That would be a great help. And thank you so much. Also, if you have not seen, I did a very short video. I think you must have seen because I said it yesterday. So yes, I uploaded it day before. It's called Indoor Plants and Tips. It's a small 8-minute video, 5-minute videos, 8-minute video, I think. I just tried to shoot some videos independent of the live. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming, and take care. Bye bye.